But the problem is we have two natures in us. We've got the spirit and we've got the flesh. And the flesh is always contrary to the spirit, Galatians chapter 5. Our flesh likes recognition. Our flesh likes to be admired by others. Our flesh likes to be praised. Our flesh likes to be told how wonderful and talented we are. Our flesh wants people to see our good works and be impressed with us. Our flesh wants people to think that we are so godly and so deeply spiritual. So Jesus warns us to be careful that we don't do our works just to be seen and admired by others. If you do, Jesus said, look what it says, you will have no reward in heaven for your charitable deeds. The Bible tells us that Jesus will judge all of our works that we have done for him as his disciples. 1 Corinthians chapter 3, if you're taking notes, 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verses 13 to 15, it says, each one's work will become clear, for the day will declare it, because it will be revealed by fire, and the fire will test each one's work of what sort it is. That's important, what sort it is. If anyone's work which he has built on endures, he will receive a reward. If anyone's work is burned, he will suffer loss, but he himself will be saved, yet so as through fire. Each of our works will be tested to see what sort it is, meaning what was our motivation for doing it. Not just what we did, but what was our motivation? What was our heart behind it? Anything done with selfish motivations or self-seeking motivation will be burned up, Paul says. And so verse 2, he goes on, therefore, when you do a charitable deed, again, it's expected that you're going to do that because that's part of the normal Christian life. Do not sound a trumpet before you as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets, that they may have glory from men. Assuredly, I say to you, they have their reward. Now, I do not believe people actually announce their good works with a trumpet blast. I don't think they had strike up the band, I just did something good kind of thing. But the idea here is don't do your good works in a way that intentionally draws attention and praise to you. Don't broadcast your good works to others. Jesus said that this is what the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets, that they may have glory from men. Now, this word hypocrites, if you're taking notes, this word hypocrites, it's the Greek word for an actor, like a stage actor. It's talking about someone who was playing a part. Someone who was playing a part but was not really that person they portrayed. An actor. Now, theater was very popular among the Romans. Every Roman city had a theater. If you go to Israel today, you visit the Roman cities, there's theaters in every Roman city. So the Jews didn't have theaters in their towns, but they were familiar with theater because of the Romans. And here Jesus borrows something that was common in the Roman culture to illustrate his point. Jesus used this word hypocrite 3 times in this chapter. Once here in verse 2, and then down in verse 5 when he's speaking of praying, and then down in verse 16 when he speaks of fasting. And his statement about hypocrisy, it was directed at the religious leaders, the Pharisees, and the scribes. And everyone in the audience there on that hillside knew who Jesus was talking about. He's taken a shot at the Pharisees and the scribes. In John chapter 12, verse 43, Jesus said of the religious leaders, they love the praise of men more than the praise of God. In Matthew chapter 23, verse 5, Jesus said, all their works they do to be seen by men. The religious leaders did their works to receive glory from men, not because they loved God. They weren't compelled by God's love for them. They were compelled by a desire to be admired, a desire to be glorified by man, by people, to be noticed. If you remember back in chapter 5, verse 20, Jesus said, unless your righteousness exceeds the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, you will by no means enter the kingdom of heaven. The scribes and Pharisees, the religious people, were hypocrites. They were actors. They were playing a role, but they were not truly righteous. And those like the scribes and the Pharisees who do their charitable deeds, who do their works, who do their ministry, that they may have glory from men, Jesus said, assuredly I say to you, they have their reward. Literally, their reward is paid in full. The only reward they will receive will be all the oohs and ahs they get from people. That's the only reward. You can imagine someone arriving in heaven expecting to receive a big reward from the Lord for all of their charitable deeds, all of their good works, and saying, Lord, I donated thousands of dollars to this ministry. They even put my name on a plaque in the lobby. Lord, you've seen the plaque, right? You've seen my name there on the plaque. So Lord, where's my reward? And the Lord will say, that plaque is your reward. Because you did it to be seen by men and to be glorified by people. There will be many people in heaven who expect to receive a large reward for their works on earth who will be surprised to learn they already received their reward. They've already received all the reward they're going to get because their motives were wrong. Even if they do great things, even if they spend thousands of dollars and give thousands of dollars, if the motives are wrong, there's no reward in heaven.